As many of you know, I did a video about David Dorn and how I was saying it was fake outrage around or surrounding his murder. And I still stand firmly on that because let's be real here. If if this was a white male who shot and killed David Dorn, they would not blow this up nearly as much. Well, they wouldn't, to be quite honest, or they wouldn't try. And to be honest, I don't think they were that successful either way because it really didn't make any headways or make any major headlines, except for the people that did hear about it and wanted to talk about it. But in this picture, you see a guy by the name of Stephen Cannon, and he is the one that they arrested who was responsible for what I believe to be the one who shot and killed David Dorn. Now, I have to give a shout out to Dark Visitor because they tagged me in this article that I'm about to read. And one thing I noticed is the charges that he said. Basically, he was telling me, Torian, look at the charges. And I was like, okay. And I just happened to open up the article before recording this video and scroll down to the charges. And I'm like, wow. Well, when I get to the charges, you're going to be like, how in the world did they charge him with all of this? But when it came to Derek Chauvin, they struggled to even get him to get charged with this. So, it says authorities in St. Louis have arrested the man they believe is responsible for the shooting death of a retired police captain who was gunned down on Facebook Live while trying to protect his friend's pawn shop from looters last week. Stephen Cannon, age 24 of St. Louis, is charged with first-degree murder, first-degree robbery, first-degree burglary, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Look at all those first degree charges. Yet they wanted to hit Derek Chauvin with third degree manslaughter, third degree murder at first, and then upgraded to second degree. Now, by the time this video gets uploaded, I will have already done my live stream in which which I talked about the recent stuff that has come out about Derek Chauvin and how we already knew that him and George Floyd worked together for 17 years, but the recent development that came out behind that was that they had not only worked with each other, but they bumped heads, like they didn't really like each other. And then when you look at the video when he was having his knee on his neck and how he looked in the camera, and that sinister look is almost as if he wanted to do this even after this man was dead, as far as we're concerned. And we're trying to see how in the world can that now not be considered murder one. But they struggled to get him to even second degree murder. But they slapped this guy with first degree everything. And it did not take them long to get this man into custody. With Derek Chauvin, it took them a week to even get him in custody. With this guy, I'm reading an article. It says from 2 days ago. This article was posted. It was updated on June 9th, but I believe they actually got him a few days before this, not too long after the actual shooting occurred. And I think there might be some other arrests that's going to be made, because when I was looking at the pictures, it was more people that was there. But it seems to me that he's getting hit with the heavier charges because he was the one that fired the shot that killed David Dorn. But like I said, this guy, they're throwing the book at this guy. Like, they're throwing everything. And what's crazy about it is he might actually, let me rephrase that. Those charges, they'll find a way to make him stick. And if they do, he's most likely going to jail for the rest of his life. Let's see here. And here's the other part. Cannon is being held without a bond. Meanwhile, a judge actually gave Derek Chauvin a $1.25 million bond, which is up from the $500,000 bond that he had originally had. And they gave him a conditional bond. Remember what I said, that he cannot be on social media. He couldn't contact the family. He couldn't leave the state. And he had to give up all his firearms if he posted that bond. If that bond gets posted, as far as we know, he's still in jail. Well, then again, like I said, they could sneak him out the back door, because it's not like they will put that out in the news, because they know if they do, they're going to be looking for him. And because he couldn't leave the state, there wouldn't be really much where he could actually go. They should have it where he couldn't leave the city or the county or whatever. But I just thought it was interesting that they threw the first degree everything at this guy. That means they're going to have to prove that he actually planned to actually kill David Dorn. But see, like I said, look, it's a black guy. They'll find a way to make it stick. And they didn't waste no time throwing those heavy charges at him. But when it came to Derek Chauvin, before they even gave him third-degree murder or manslaughter, whatever it is, they questioned whether or not there was enough evidence to even charge him with anything. And we could take it away from the Derek Chauvin. Let's think about those 3 terrorists that were responsible for killing Breonna Taylor and almost killing her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker. They have yet to be criminally charged with anything. They are still free. And as far as we know, still working for that department. But they charged Kenneth Walker with attempted murder. And thankfully, Judge Olu Stevens is on the case and had those charges dropped. And I don't think they can go back and get him for that. But I think they said there's still some other things they might try to get him for. You know, they can't let a black man just walk away from this, even though they are the ones responsible for killing his girlfriend in their home. Now, this is not me saying that this Stephen Cannon should not be charged with anything, because at the end of the day, he did kill someone. And not in self-defense. But you heard the charges. First degree, well, let me read them again. First degree murder, which means he had to premeditate this. Do we have any proof that he planned on killing David Dorn? Did he even know David Dorn? What was the other one? First degree robbery, which means he had to have gone to that pawn shop with the intent to rob it or loot it. When it comes to looting, no one really plans to go into these stores to do anything or plan to go to it. They got to prove that he planned to go to this particular store to loot. And if that's the case, they need to go after those other people who was out there looting for first degree whatever. What is it? First degree burglary, 3 counts of armed criminal action, and 1 count of being a felon in possession of a firearm. Now, if they was doing the 1 count of a felon in the possession of a firearm, I don't know what his record is prior to this, but let's just say that he has one. Okay, that one I could see sticking. But see, the possession of a firearm, being a felon, and the 3 counts of armed criminal action, those are low tier compared to the first 3 that had first degree attached to it. Like I said, they are coming for him. They are coming for him. And like I said, if this was a white guy who killed David Dorn, they would not have hit him as hard with these charges as they did with this guy. I'm claiming that right now. Like I said, should he get time for what he did? Most definitely. But those are some hefty charges right there. Like, they want to make sure they throw him away and throw him away as well as throw away the key.